Retired Navy Senior Chief Steve Myers sells real estate. If you're buying or selling your home in Florida, call Steve at 904-479-6778. Make sure to tell him Tuddle sent you. Your reasons for listening to this show, well, those are your own. But just keep in mind that the views, information, or opinions expressed on the Tuddle Daily Podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of our sponsors. Yeah, it's called free speech, people. Nobody's forcing you to listen. One-of-a-kind shades made to order by VaporShades.com. Vapor Shades designs the outer layer of the sunglasses just like a wrap on a car. They customize your sunglasses, marbling the paint. The end result is no two pair of sunglasses are alike. Yours will be completely unique to you. Check us out at VaporShades.com. Use promo code Tuddle for 15% off your entire order. Get ready for your daily dose of Tuddle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuddle. Tuddle in Florida.
From the Vapor Shades Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
Anarchy! Anarchy! Anarchy!
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuddle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
Welcome to another edition of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Make sure you check out my website, Tuddle.net. That's Tuddle with two D's, Tuddle.net. There are a couple of ways you can get a hold of me. You can email me, Tuddle@gmail.com, or leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044. And if you don't know about it already, I've been talking about it a lot. Go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tuddle. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that little bell button, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't get alerted. You got to hit that bell button because you will get a notification every single time I go live or put up any new content. So, once again, still have not been able to catch this goddamn rat. Now, it was funny. I was sitting in my car last night doing some show prep. I was, just looking for audio or video to play. This fucking rat is like taunting me outside the window of my car. He is crawling, because right next to my car, I have all the ladders like nice and neatly stacked up because I've been cleaning up around here. And that bitch was like trying to get on my eye level and kind of taunt me. But still, nothing. Got a 0.0 double buckshot when it comes to not getting the mouse, the rat, whatever you want to call it. Once again, slept in bed with a knife and a spatula, ready to do hand-to-hand combat with this massive human. And I got a good look at him, and I got to tell you, he's pretty rugged. This is a very rugged rat. But I am going to get him. I promise you this. I'm going to catch him on that glue trap, and I am going to use that brand new knife that I found. If you watch the live stream, I've been sharpening the hell out of it. Oh my God. It's going to be bad for him. Speaking of, a lot of people think rats mean that your house is dirty. No, we clean. Our house is immaculate when it comes to being clean. But the other day, I ended up getting some Chinese food. And I don't understand what they do to the chicken, but Chinese food chicken, it is the best. It's the most tender meat. I don't know. I think it's good for you, but from what I hear, they use a lot of oil and stuff when they cook. But I was getting down to that last bite, and I dropped a piece of chicken on the floor. I mean, do you guys believe in the 5-second rule? Maybe that's why our immune systems aren't as good as they used to be as humans. Because I know back in the day, if I dropped something, as long as it didn't land like straight in dirt, like if it lands on the floor, I will pick it up and eat it. I will. I know that you probably shouldn't do that. I would like to hear from any of you guys. Do you guys, like, if it's some really, really good food, like that Chinese chicken, that I had, you pick it up off the floor and eat it. I know the Mythbusters probably did a whole gimmick and a whole show about the 5-second rule. But leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044. The reason that I was talking about, picking things up off the floor and eating them, this guy, I forget his name, but I do know that he is married, and I don't even know her name. But if you guys ever remember the show Boy Meets World, Topanga, this guy is married to Topanga, every Gen Xer's crush back in the day. Yeah, Topanga. The guy bought a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and there were shrimp tails in it. Yes, shrimp tails. Now, I don't really, it sucks that there could have been shrimp tails in the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's still edible. You know how I would look at it? I'd be like, hell yeah, I got free bait. I'm going to put one of these fish tails on the end of a hook and see if I can catch a mangrove snapper or something. But I think some of these people are just looking for attention now. And I'm almost sure he's going to sue, even though I know, see, this is the thing about it. He's married to Topanga, and I'm sure Topanga still has some of that Boy Meets World money. And he's probably like, oh man, I feel like less of a man. I'm married to Topanga. I mean, the guy must have a big dick, because if you see the pictures of this guy, you're just like, there's no way somebody like that would be with Topanga from Boy Meets World.
A man who purchased some Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal from a Woodland Hills Costco found an unpleasant surprise in his breakfast Tuesday. Take a look. Jensen Karp tweeted this picture of shrimp tails. You heard that correctly. Shrimp tails in his cereal. He says upon further investigation, he found, quote, other weird stuff. Gross.
Yeah. Okay. This Karp guy. Yeah, he's definitely trying to get his own coin, because why would you be so vague and say other gross things? Because you obviously took a picture of the shrimp tails. And stop being a pussy. It's edible. It's not going to kill you. The worst thing that I'll tell you, one time my mom went to the Winn-Dixie Deli, got home, maybe made a couple of sandwiches off of it. But then when we got to one layer, there was a Band-Aid in the goddamn sandwich meat. Now, that is something to be pissed off about. Not shrimp tails. Grow the fuck up. Stop being a pussy. Go bang Topanga. If shrimp tails, it's the least of your worries right now. You should be worried about, how am I going to be able to keep Topanga from Boy Meets World?
The discovery was made while getting his second bowl of cereal. Poor guy. Cinnamon Toast Crunch's verified Twitter replied and asked Karp to message its account, but then later sent out a tweet saying, quote, after further investigation with our team that closely examined the image, it appears to be an accumulation of the cinnamon sugar that sometimes can occur when the ingredients aren't thoroughly blended. Karp says the company is being, quote,
can you actually call me out for sounding morning zoo-ish or hackish if I admit what I'm about to say is morning zoo-ish or hackish? But with the guy with the last name Karp, which is a fish, why would he have a problem with getting shrimp tails in his Cinnamon Toast Crunch? You would think with the last name Karp, you'd be like, hell yeah, bonus.
Incredibly weird, and also tried to tell him the shapes in this image are not shrimp tails. They really look like shrimp tails. Katie Johnston for CBS LA.
Oh, by the way, I know that you guys cannot see what Katie Johnston looks like, but holy crap. Gotta tell you. I mean, when you start getting into some of those top 10 markets, like here, New York, Chicago, LA, like the women are on just another level. Now, I will admit, Orlando, Tampa, they have an amazing stable of very good news reporters and very, very attractive ones. My favorite, oh my God, Amy Caulfield. Amy Caulfield is the total package. She really is. If you haven't seen Amy Caulfield, and you listen to me in the Tampa area, do yourself a favor. Amy Caulfield, holy crap. Gonna take a quick break. Myself, and Serak are gonna be interviewing a local comedian from the Tampa Bay area. You are listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
He's a nerd,
I've only been arrested one time.
a radio personality,
Professionally, I'm not in the best position that I've ever been in.
and hot talk satirizer.
You would think with everything that's going on, a Caucasian like myself wouldn't be able to randomly talk to an African American or a minority.
You're listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Wish you could have just flown and had your vehicle arrive a day or two later so you can enjoy more time doing what's important to you? Well, you can. Just give Starfire Transport a call. Let the professionals do the driving while you're flying. Starfire Transport specializes in RV and auto transport. They'll also haul watercraft from boats to PWCs, cargo trailers, and more. Service available throughout the continental United States. So don't wait. Call Brian today at 574-349-4193 or 989-751-6106 for your next move. 10% off for veterans past or present. Also, make sure to tell them Tuddle sent you for an additional discount. That's Starfire Transport. Do you have something you want to say?
Hey, what kind of preacher is you?
Leave Tuddle a voicemail,
Cause you kind of ignorant.
especially if you think he's being an asshole.
No mega bitch.
Will your hurtful comments offend Tuddle?
No, baby.
Call the show at 407-270-3044.
No, baby.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. I am joined by my co-host, Serak.
Hey.
Serak, how are you there?
I'm here, baby.
See, this is the first time we've ever done this.
It is.
Where we are, well, I don't want to say threesome.
This is not the first time we've done this, though, because, I mean, we've been on the air with another person plenty of times.
But we've been in the studio, though, looking at each other when we've done this. But
I would say looking at each other.
yeah. Well, my next guest is actually in your area.
Okay.
Jeff Macolino. Jeff, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Serak, this is Jeff. Jeff, this is
what's
Serak.
up? Macaleno. Is it Macaleno? Say it for us.
Macaleno.
Yeah, I always think
Lot of
that
vowels.
song. I think that song. Macaleno.
What's the heritage on that? Like, because I have a guest coming up that, because I did one of those DNA ancestry kits. Macaleno, like, is that Italian? It sounds Italian. Hello.
Is it Italian? I think it's Italian.
Hello.
Jeff, did we lose you there? Maybe it's not Italian. You got offended. Because
That might be the quickest interview that I've ever done.
What would have fit in Italian?
I don't know if you heard what I was saying. Is I got a guest coming on because I did one of those DNA test kits from Ancestry.com.
Mm-hmm.
Macaleno, is that Italian? What's the heritage of that last name? Because I'm always like curious.
Yeah, the Macaleno is that's straight from Italy. I did one of those 23andMe's. I'm 3/4 Italian. So
what's the other quarter?
It is a mix between German, Irish, and Middle Eastern, which was a surprise.
Ah.
Now, Jeff, I don't, you're a comedian. I'm sure you don't get offended by much.
Nothing at all.
You also have a podcast. Before I get into what I'm about to say, tell everybody where they can find any of the content that you have going on right now.
The main thing right now is the Jeff Macolino podcast, and you can find that pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, mainly Spotify and Apple. And I'm on Twitter. I started an Instagram and a Facebook group, so kind of just getting rolling with all that stuff now. So that's the main place you can find me.
Yeah. The only one I've not gotten on is Snapchat, because I thought Snapchat would get me in trouble with the whores.
It will. It will. Trust me.
Yeah, it will.
Snapchat, I'm probably younger than both of you. No offense. I didn't say, Jeff, you look great, but I mean, I'm sure you're a little right around my age or maybe older.
Facial hair makes you look older, though.
It does. But, you know, you said you're new to Instagram, so I figured that that gave you like 5+ years right there.
Well, I don't take a lot of pictures is the problem. So I never really saw a need to get on Instagram and Snapchat. I'll tell you real quick why I hate Snapchat is
it's just for nudes.
Well, years ago, I didn't have the greatest phone service, and I got a booty call via Snapchat that wouldn't load until 3 days later, and it was too late at that point.
Oh yeah. I mean, Serak, I mean, is there a time limit on a booty call? Like if a chick is down,
it depends. Is this like the first so basically if it's the first booty call, then hell yeah, there's a time limit. You know, you got to kind of grab that, as soon as it comes out. But if this is like the, the 3rd or 4th, 5th time, nah, man, she's on your time at that point. So the 3-day Snapchat response, that's about normal, I would say, for a multiple booty call type girl.
Yeah, unfortunately, this was the first time and apparently the only opportunity I was going to get.
Now, you got to get back up on that horse, man. Like, I mean, if you got one that quick, I mean, you really can't give up.
I might one day. I'm getting old. I'm in my mid-30s now, so.
I knew it. God, what did I say? I knew it.
I just turned 40. Why do I feel like, seriously, guys? You know what makes me feel the oldest is that growing up watching sports, watching your favorite athletes, you were like, oh man, they're older than me. You always look up to them. But now looking at sports athletes, I'm like, God damn, all these NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB players, they're all younger than me.
Yeah, like LeBron is like 36.
Oh yeah, well, he's done for.
What do you mean done for?
He's soft. He's letting some bitch ass ankle sprain.
Jeff, are you a LeBron fan?
I don't hate LeBron, but I grew up with Michael Jordan being the king, so I always bias myself against him a little bit. I don't want him to reach the Jordan title number.
Oh, he'll never do that. He'll never do that because guess what? Jordan stayed and won his championships with all one team.
And retired and came back.
Okay, but he still won all his championships with the same team. Jeff, me and Serak have this debate all the time, okay? I say that the superstars of today's NBA could not play basketball in the 90s because it was too physical.
Agreed. They're too soft.
No. Here, all right. So obviously you guys are stuck in the 90s. No, the players today, you can't blame them for the rule change. They are physically better, more skilled, and last a lot longer. They have way more perseverance. I mean, like imagine a LeBron, and I hate to like use him as the example, but imagine a LeBron playing in the 90s. Like it would just be him versus Jordan every single year. Like it wouldn't even be no competition.
The warm Rodman would put LeBron on his ass.
Yeah, if he showed up to the game,
to take it the whole. Yeah, well, I mean, Rodman. You know who kept Rodman in check was Jordan. Jeff, tell him, like seriously, like okay, here, Jeff. I mean, look at this. Everybody's making a big deal about Chris Paul just getting 10,000 assists. Look, do you know that John Stockton, or not? John Stockton from the Jazz has like almost 6,000 more assists than him. That's back in a physical day of NBA.
Yeah, but he also had Karl Malone, who is guaranteed to score points.
Yeah, you can't get an
assist unless the guy scores.
He's also known to love the underage women, if you know what I'm talking about as well, too.
Oh boy.
So Jeff, I didn't get a chance to obviously listen to your podcast. I'm kind of new to the whole deal, but what do you usually, topics wise, talk about?
Well, it's comedy themed. I try to get as many comedians on as possible. Okay. The reason I started it, and this maybe will explain a little bit of it, is I kind of had a early midlife crisis and decided I wanted to form a career in comedy myself. And at my age, I'm basically a dinosaur for someone who's going to open mics for
No, that's not true, man. Some of my favorite comics are, like help me out here,
What's
Tuddle. Who
Louis?
are my favorite comics?
No. But the guy that
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K., the guy that loved to masturbate in front of people. I mean, he wasn't young when he started, I don't think.
I think he was in his early 20s. There's some young photos of Louis C.K. out there on stage.
Jeff Ross, he's funny.
Yeah, no, and you can be old. My age, I think most of the best comedians out there are still older than me, but they also have, 10, 15 years of stage experience over
Right.
Oh, but you need life experiences, though, to be a good comedian, don't you think?
I think that's where I hope to gain an advantage is, I mean, I've had an office job for more than 11 years now.
What were you doing?
Insurance claims, and I still am.
There's a lot of comedy in
job.
that, buddy. They're like, oh man, that Hurricane Katrina gave me a lot of business when it washed ashore, and those FEMA camps. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
this is why I'm not a comedian.
Well, just the monotony of the day to day. I mean, and to be honest, the way I wanted to get into comedy, and I'm still open to it, is more in the writing aspect of it. And even watching things like The Office, I don't think most of the writers of that show ever actually worked in an office. They're all comedians who kind of thought, here's some funny things that could happen.
Well, BJ Novak was, and not a lot of people know this, BJ Novak was one of the biggest writers, a part of that show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Mandy Kaling, too.
And yeah, Mindy Kaling, and she doesn't get enough credit for the writing of that show as well.
Because they judge them on like the acting, right? With you saying BJ Novak was, you can even say he was like the head writer, but since he played a character as well, my mind immediately goes to like his performance as a character, even though his talent really lied in the writing.
Absolutely. They're the unsung heroes, or the writer's room.
Now, Jeff, who is the biggest? So you've done open mic nights. Have you like opened or performed before any big names? Like, what are some of the big names? If you have, what are some of those big names that you performed in front of?
I have not yet. The stand-up part of the comedy career is definitely the one that has taken the longest time to develop, and that's mainly because it's not as easy with the COVID times we live in to actually get on stage. So no, just unpaid open mics so far. No big names as far as on sharing the stage with them.
Where do you usually
ahead,
go? Because I stay in Tampa. I stay downtown, and I'm just wondering like where, like say if I wanted to watch like one of your performances, and we'll exclude the improv just because I know that's like a really popular place. But as far as like open mic, where would I be able to find you?
The place I'm probably going to make my home is Coconuts, which is on St. Pete Beach.
Okay.
They have open mics on every Tuesday, and they told me they're actually the oldest comedy club in the state. I don't know if that's true. I'm sure I
probably mean like
that.
the population around there is probably the oldest in the state as well. But
yeah, and it's got a mixed bag of age too, which I like. I mean, you've got some real young people, you've got some real old people who are clearly just doing it to scratch an itch, not make a career out of it. So it's a fun environment.
Now, Jeff, let me ask you this though, like you can you share any stories of bombing? Because even the greatest comedians have bombed on stage.
Oh yeah, everyone does. I think the key is, especially when you're doing open mic night, is almost everyone bombs, because most of the audience at an open mic night is other performers who are not listening. So they're not going to laugh. Their heads buried in their notebook or in their phone, preparing to go up on stage.
Or they're stealing your joke.
That too. The good thing, although it's made it difficult because you have in open mic nights, typically you just get 5 minutes. The good thing is I am not a setup punchline type comedian. So everything I say is really story based. So the good thing for me is almost everything I say is based on something that actually happened in my life. So it is that much harder for someone else to actually steal it and make it their own.
Okay, I get what you mean. It's kind of like how like Kevin Hart does, right? Like everything is always like revolved around like his family and what really happened.
Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
Now, Jeff, like, all right, so if I'm just giving you any advice, these other comedians that are out there, I say you start beef with them, right, Serak? You know,
yeah.
like, I mean, what sold the most hip hop record was the East Coast West Coast beef, correct?
Yeah. So you gotta find a rival.
Yeah, a rival that, like, you know, even if you're both in on it and you guys both have an agreement, like, we are just taking the gloves off, like, you know, I'm going to say the worst things I can say about you. You can say the worst things about me. And then let's get rich.
It doesn't sound like a bad idea. I'm a very nice person at heart, so it would definitely have to be a gentleman's agreement that we're actually in on the secret together.
But just so you don't do you work blue? Like, do you do any controversial type content?
I have a very hard time not doing controversial content.
Okay, well, we're saying that because this is something that me and Serak have talked a lot about, is the cancel culture that is going on in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, give me an example of like an offensive like opinion or something that you would talk about on stage.
Well, I don't ever want to unnecessarily offend someone, but
please do. No, please.
Do. I mean, we want it. Yes.
I say racist shit about my old self sometimes.
Yeah.
But I went on stage one time and started my act by saying, you know, I had to trash my whole act. I was a big racist, but then I watched a football game and the end racism was painted in the end zone in Jacksonville. So I decided, you know what? Maybe I should stop being racist. Just things like that, which, you know, I'm not saying that saying end racism is a bad thing, but is any racist going to see the words end racism and think, you know what, maybe I should stop?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of racists don't know they're racist at the same time.
Oh, I 100% agree. And that's kind of that's kind of where I go. I make a joke later. I'm like, oh, no, it wasn't in Jacksonville. They suck. Like, it was the back of Tom Brady's helmet.
Like this weekend and I'm not trying to like pour acid on a sensitive topic, but like with the whole like Atlanta thing with the shooting, which is very sad, by the way, very, very sad. But like
that's not racist though.
But no, like it was like, you know, the hate crime against like Asians apparently, or that's how it was portrayed. But like as a black man, like for some reason, like I didn't really care too much. And then I thought to myself, is this what it feels like to be white? Like I want to care, but a part of me feels like I really don't care, which is kind of fucked up.
No, because the Asians, man, they're like, man, no. I mean, no. What I think though, but you want me back to what I'm saying? Don't take offense to this, Jeff, but I think the Italians are the most racist people out of anybody in the whole entire world. I mean, just watch The Sopranos.
Yeah, I think The Sopranos is maybe a bit of a lot of Italians I know actually don't like The Sopranos because the way it portrays Italians.
But get what I'm saying though, you know, like Italians, I think get so mad because, you know, I was going to talk about that scene in the movie True Romance where Dennis Hopper talks about it, but you know, a lot of people don't know the history.
So you can't just fly past that. Like we've seen True Romance and who Dennis Hopper
well,
is.
Well, you don't know movies at all, but he gives this big monologue because these Italians are about to kill him anyways. And he goes off and he's like, you know, I love history. I love that shit. I find it fascinating. But did you know that the Moors, you know, who were black, did so much fucking with your great great grandmother that now you guys don't have the blonde hair and stuff. Now you got the dark hair because they did so much fucking of the Italian people at the time that you have black blood in your body.
Yeah, but you can't spend that as in a stand-up. Like, Jeff, how would you spend that on an open mic with 5 minutes? Hey,
Yeah,
guys, you know why Italians
the
have black
Moors-
hair?
No, but I can't say a lot of the words that Dennis Hopper used in the movie, but what I'm trying to say is that it is true. A lot of Italians have African American blood in them.
Yes,
Yeah, but
absolutely.
so does everybody.
Look at Serak, you know me. Do you think I got
Listen, Jeff, have you done, you said you've done the 23andMe, right?
Yes.
Okay, I've done Ancestry.com, and Tuddle, you did Ancestry as
yeah,
well.
but guess what? No, but hear me out though. I'm about to do this interview with the DNA sleuth, Christina Fitzgibbon, and she no, laugh your ass off, but this is what she does for a living, motherfucker. So
Yeah, you call her the DNA sleuth. That's so close to slut. Sleuth is a slang for
trust
slut.
me, I will send you her picture, and trust me, I wish, because she's pretty damn hot.
All right, we'll give her some real DNA. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, whatever. So, but what I'm trying to say is, I told her before we go on the air, I don't want to know anything, but she said that there is some very interesting shit in my lineage, Jeff. And come to find out that my great great grandmother's last name was Heil, and Heil Hitler, Heil. So I'm afraid that I'm going to find out that I got some Nazi blood in my system.
Well, that's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
Are
you weren't alive. I mean,
Yeah, like you can't take the blame. I mean, Nazis had kids too. I mean, it's not like they weren't fucking.
But you would, all right. So you're telling me, like, you guys wouldn't have a problem if you were, I know it's not your fault, but like, you guys wouldn't be like kind of bummed out if you found out if Adolf Hitler was like a great 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 grandfather of yours.
Did I get?
Oh yeah, no, that would bother me a little bit.
I mean,
The Rock.
I don't know. I got booted for like a quick second.
Maybe Adolf liked the black women.
I think he did. I think a lot of those like history villains do, and they just they never admit it. But you always find out like, oh, by the way, Adolf had a mistress that no one knew about, and next thing you know, I do Ancestry.com, and I'm like, what is this 2% German bullshit? And lo and behold, I'm related to Adolf as well.
Yeah, I mean, would you? Is that something to brag about, or is that something you keep to yourself, Jeff and Serak?
I keep it to myself for sure.
I'd brag, but it'd be a humble brag. Like I'd be like, no wonder I have such good leadership skills. Like,
no wonder I give great speeches. So, I mean, you can't understand a goddamn thing that Adolf Hitler was saying during his speeches. But you could just tell how passionate he was, that he was saying some pretty important shit back then, or it was just complete bullshit.
Well, Jeff, as a comedian, like like Tuddle's saying about like the whole just the body language, like is that when you're doing an act or whether it's open mic or for 5 minutes or not, like does selling like the tone or your body language, is that more important than actual like joke?
Yeah, I think I've learned probably the hard way that that's the case, because I can have the tendency to go up there and say the words correctly. And if you're kind of just monotone and not putting a little movement into it, you that kind of act only works if you kind of build a personality, and you can't do that in 5 minutes. I mean, there are some comedians who are pretty just monotone and almost boring, but over an hour you get their personality and you find them funny.
Dude, I wanted to bring up hecklers, and I know a lot of you guys are going to think that I'm like being a dick, but the one comedian, because if I was a comedian, Serak, I don't know about you, but like I would be wanting to throw hands with hecklers.
You can't. Man. You got to keep your composure.
No, Carrot Top is the last comedian that you would want to fuck with.
Did he get like super buff,
dude?
At some point,
dude. Google a picture of Carrot Top. I don't even know. Like, Google Carrot Top, like, buff or like rip. I know that's a weird search history.
Yeah, I know. I'm
you
like so many like weird ads, like for.
But the dude is jacked as fuck. Like, I'm for real. He's gonna like. The dude is ripped. But like, that's why I couldn't be a comedian, because I would want to fight motherfucker.
Yeah. You really have to, if you can ignore them and keep going. I again, with open mics, there really aren't hecklers, but sometimes there are loud drunks in the room. So if you can talk over them, you just do that. And otherwise, especially with the loud drunks, fortunately for me, I have a lot of experience being the loud drunk in the room. So I'm able to usually disarm or make a joke to insult them in a nice non-combative way.
Never go the Michael Richards route. Serak, do you know who I'm talking about? You know, the guy from Seinfeld?
It makes me sad because it's even worse when it's someone like you think is funny, right? Or like, oh, he's a cool guy. Probably if I ever met him.
Kramer. Who knew Kramer was racist as fuck?
I don't think he's racist. I think,
but then why
he was just pissed and knew what to say.
He didn't know how to deal with hecklers, so he went. I actually talked to a comedian about hecklers on my podcast, and one of the things and this is consistent with all comedians, they say, well, look, Michael Richards was a comedic actor. He wasn't a stand-up comedian. He had no idea how to deal with hecklers. So you never go nuclear with a heckler. And he went nuclear. What is the most offensive thing I can say? And it'll be funny and shut him up. That's what he thought. So no, I don't think he's racist either. I think he was not a stand-up comedian, and he got caught in a bad situation and definitely was racist in the moment.
Now, Serak, let me ask you, does it make it worse? Like, if you would have not used the hard R at the end, like, does that make a difference?
Yeah, the hard R is like, I don't know, if you ever play like fighting games like Street Fighter or something like that, the hard R is like the combo. You know, it like times it by X, and it's just it's 10 times as worse than just the.
So it's like a fatality back in the day.
Exactly.
In Mortal Kombat.
It's the finish him. Like if he was in the Mortal Kombat video game, like his finishing move, he would just say, he would say what he would say.
With the hard R.
With the hard R, and then like your ears would explode or some shit like that. I don't know. Mortal Kombat.
Oh, dude, that would be. Oh man, we need to talk about that, Serak. We need to pitch a character.
They got to move. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's a new one coming out, I think, next month.
What, another Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, it's like a updated one, I guess. I don't know.
Jeff, Jeff, so like now give me your Mount Rushmore of comedians, the ones that, and I'm not talking about what other people think are the best comics. In your opinion, like, give me your top 4 comedians, the ones that have inspired you.
That's a good one. Number 1, I would definitely say, is Doug Stanhope, who a lot of people don't know. He's the guy who actually made me think, like, you can just be yourself on stage. He, warts and all. He's rough around the edges, so he's not. I don't know if you guys do this, but occasionally when, just a few guys hanging out at a house will throw on some comedy. Mm-hmm. Doug Stanhope's not a guy you want to throw on the screen because he's not
very offensive.
He can be very offensive. He talks about, he has a great bit about helping his mother commit suicide. She was terminally ill with cancer, so she was going to die soon.
I've already got the plans. Like, I have a contraption already made.
Okay.
For my mom, where it is a sawed-off shotgun and a string that she can put on her finger.
So like Jigsaw. So you're like Jigsaw. Okay.
Yeah. So I would definitely, hey, would you, Serak? Like, if you I mean,
like build like a
could you-
suicide device?
Yeah, could you take out your mom? Like, say she was in a lot of pain. She was like, Serak,
Grab the
need you to-
shotgun.
I need you to blast me right in the face.
This got dark.
Oh my god! Hell no! Of course not.
And,
I mean,
but I'm saying
there's
she's in the
other
worst
options.
pain in the world, and she's begging you.
Why would I like be in this situation though? Like, where are we? Are we like on an island somewhere? where there's
Zombie
no hospital around?
apocalypse, no hospital.
Oh,
like,
God.
no, she's been bitten by a zombie.
Oh, I would just let the shit
You
just
would
run
let her
course.
turn?
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
you would let? What would you do? Like,
Have you
would
seen I Am
would-
Legend? Like, there is a small chance that there could be a cure found in the future, and then everybody can turn back. I would let her turn.
So what would
and
you
then I
do?
might just let her eat me.
Gag her? What would you do? Put it like a ball gag on your mom or something, where she can bite you or shit, or pull her teeth out?
Yeah, I
like,
think you would
what
have to pull her teeth out, right? And just handcuff her.
What about you, Jeff?
No, I just find a secure room, and I'd send animals or people I didn't like in the room with her, and keep her alive. Again, just in case there's a vaccination or something in the future.
Wait, you put animals in the room with it?
Yeah,
Whatever, to keep her alive.
eat. Like,
Oh.
I mean, so what would you feed your mom? Like stray dogs or something? Or like, I mean, are you
Stray
gonna give
dogs.
her like? Are you gonna like, hook your mom's up and like bring in a beef cow or something, or like a pig?
I mean, zombie apocalypse, anything goes. I mean, strangers, animals.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Whatever-
zombies eat.
Whatever
but-
you could catch. Speaking of that, Jeff, quick question, because me and Tuddle were arguing about this earlier. Speaking of animals, all right, Tuddle, I think you know where I'm going with this, but
Oh, here we go.
Without you even, Tuddle, without
I ain't gonna say
nothing,
shit. I
Don't
ain't
say
gonna say
nothing. So
shit.
who wins, Jeff? Who wins in a fight? I'm sure you've heard this before, between a gorilla or silverback, whatever you want to call it, and I don't know, like a grizzly bear.
Ooh.
And why? What your reasoning behind it?
Yeah, I got to hear this.
I mean, I think, but I don't know scientifically if I am correct. I think I had heard previously that pound for pound of mammals, that gorillas were the strongest.
Thank you.
But there's a but coming. But
Well, I don't think they're as vicious, but then again, I've heard about gorillas who were like docile and friendly with humans who've just crushed them on accident, like turned their bones into powder.
Yeah, did you see what Harambe? Did you see what Harambe did to that little kid?
he
that
didn't
fell
kill
in
him.
the
He didn't
gorilla?
crush him
Oh, he dragged him through the water like a rag doll, though.
like a toy.
I think the gorillas got to be a lot smarter too. So I
Thank
think
Oh my god!
I think I'm leaning gorilla, man.
All right, fair enough.
Yes.
2 gorillas, 1 grizzly. I was thinking like if they were actually in a fight, like
I'm
The
sorry.
gorilla-
This is going to be a poll on Tuddle.net, and I'm also going to put it on my social media page.
okay, well if that's
And
the case, then I'm going with polar bear. If you get to pick the biggest of the animal, I get to pick the biggest species of bears.
Oh, now you got to make this in this environment. You're going to want to put a white bear versus a
Silver.
gorilla.
Gray,
Silver-
gray silverish.
Oh,
Okay,
great,
but-
great scores.
Yeah, I know. Like Serak, like we're all just trying to come together as a country.
Okay,
right
fine.
now.
We'll go
And
grizzly.
you're
then.
one to pick. You're one.
Oh,
to
so
pick.
it's grizzly. So
a
it's brown
white-
on black. So what is that supposed to be?
Well, but we've already talked about this, Serak. Inside, you've even admitted that darker skin look down on lighter skin
Oh,
minorities.
what do you mean? I didn't say I did not admit that. I said it seems
It happened.
it happened, but I think that's just like a perception thing. It's nothing like there's no actually advantage to either one. Just
So
like
you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
pretty
Because
much. And I think the grizzly wins every time.
Me and Jeff are just gonna sit back and was like, yeah, let's see this light skinned ass brown bear fight this dark ass gorilla.
Silver.
And
He's
and
silver.
well, but I mean, he's on his back. What black people? Never mind. I ain't gonna say shit. I'm gonna get myself in trouble.
Listen, if you don't wear cocoa butter, sometimes you can be a little silver or gray.
Okay, all right.
All I'm
Dude,
saying is the grizzly. We need like one of those like simulations that these.
how can we make this happen without
I don't
PETA?
know.
Like, I mean, can we get like too old? Like, you know how they have the senior PGA tour? Can we get like a brown bear or a grizzly that's on his last leg.
But how do you make a fight?
Gorilla. And you just, well, I mean, come on now. I mean, if you pit two animals like that in a cage together,
yeah, but
you pit them in an octagon. And also, does Joe Rogan? Do you have to have Joe Rogan call that fight, Jeff?
I think so.
Like,
and I feel like Joe Rogan would have like stats about each one for some reason. Like, oh, the grizzly bear this is his third fight of the week, and the gorilla is undefeated, and all that.
The grizzly's got the reach. But the gorilla is, more muscular. I'm sorry, Jeff. We're not ignoring you.
We're not.
Me and Serak were going off on our own there. But all right. So now we went through your first comedian there. Where does Carlin fit in your rankings?
Carlin and Richard Pryor are two who kind of predate me as far as age, but those are the two that my dad was kind of obsessed with. My dad's still obsessed with Richard Pryor. Like every time I go over to his house, he's like, "Oh, listen to this 15-minute set of Richard Pryor's." So those are the two that I wasn't old enough to actually enjoy them while they were in their prime. But those are the two of the older age. And actually, I'll add in Robin Williams to kind of the older group of people, of comedians.
Serak, did you ever see any Robin Williams comedian or comedy stand up?
Just no. All I've seen of him was it Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire. Of course, you would go straight.
He was like he was just. I was like Jeff was saying. I was just too young and I didn't really know who he was at the time.
Jeff, let me ask you. It almost seemed like Robin Williams. Most comedians have a set. And I'm sure Robin Williams did have a set, but it seemed like he would go off script sometime. And also, there were rumors that he loved the cocaine back in the day.
I believe that. Oh, he did.
Yeah. Oh, he was one of the this guy did not take a breath the whole time he was on stage.
Well, what's funny with him is even when he would go to rehab and get off the cocaine, he kept that personality. He was a million miles an hour all the time. What's amazing with him is, I was really too young to enjoy it at the time with a lot of his movies. He went from being one of the best stand-up comedians to
Good Will Hunting.
He was one of the biggest stars of Hollywood. I mean, Good Will Hunting, Patch Adams. I don't know if you've seen Insomnia, where he played a brilliant villain with Al Pacino.
Serak has never seen any movie.
No, Jeff Tuddle has seen all movies. So if he mentions some movies that I haven't seen, apparently I have. I'm like, I don't know anything about movies at all. And there are always movies that around my age where I was 6 or 7 years old. I'm not gonna know that shit.
Wait, so you can't go back and watch a movie, Serak, please?
Yeah, but it's 21st century. It's 2021. Who's going back for anything?
I'm going to lose a lot of respect for you if you say no to this next question.
All right,
have you or have you not seen the movie Good Will Hunting?
That's with Ben Affleck, right?
Well, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon wrote it.
And wait, what the hell is Reindeer Games? Is that something different?
Dude, Reindeer Games is a piece of shit compared to
But are they both
Good
in
Will
it?
Hunting.
Are they both in the same things?
No. Ben Affleck is in Reindeer Games.
Okay. And no, I haven't seen Good Will Hunting. I wait. So listen, I may have seen it. So Jeff, basically Tuddle's really good with titles of movies. I'm really good with what happened. So he has to describe the plot, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen it.
There's a math problem on a chalkboard in the hallway.
Yeah. Okay. So he's a janitor.
Yeah, I seen it.
But he is super smart. Okay, then tell me, give me some plot parts in the movie then. See, because I gotta call Serak out on something. I've already told you that.
Okay. Well. He's all right. You said he's a janitor, and he does the math problems, and he meets the professor, and they become really good friends. And I remember.
No.
Is that not what happened? And in the end, he gets a scholarship to the school.
No. No,
Fuck Matt
no.
Damon. I'm just kidding.
No, but Serak, though, here, basically, you know what the story is about. I mean, yeah, he is a genius, but he had a lot of childhood trauma growing up, right, Jeff? And in the movie, and
Just say right.
I've seen it. I know.
he has to see, and I don't. You know what? That's the next movie I want you to watch. If you
Good Will Hunting.
will.
I've seen it. I just don't remember. Does that count?
Anyways, Robin Williams is his psychiatrist, his therapist. You know, and it's all about the stories of, you know, not about race. It's about class. You know, it's about, you know, 4 guys from Boston that would take a baseball bat. You know, we've all had those boys that we grew up with that we would have each other's back. I'm almost absolutely sure that you have guys that you grew up with that you would always have their back on, right, Serak?
Right, of course.
Okay, well, I mean, it is just this great movie, and you got to remember, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck at the time were unknown people, and they wrote this movie all on their own.
Well, okay. I'll tell you what, I'll watch it. I'll rent it.
Dude, that
I'll
means
watch
you
it again.
have
I
not
feel like
watched it.
I feel like I've seen it already, but I'll rewatch it just to remember what happens.
Now,
To remember.
so Jeff, so you got you know, you had Pryor. Now what about Eddie Murphy?
I haven't seen as much of his stand up as I would have liked to have. I mostly know him as an actor. One of the first movies I remember seeing, I was probably way too young for it, but my dad, again, who you know, must have a real comedian inside of him, was Trading Places.
Oh, dude, Serak, I know,
And I'm sure he hasn't seen that either.
I'm not gonna even ask Serak if he's seen Trading Places, if he hasn't either.
Is that with Eddie Murphy in the other guy?
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, and they're stockbrokers, right? Well,
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd's a stockbroker, and then the other guy's a bum. Eddie's
Oh, you
character's a bum.
have seen
Yeah,
it.
I've seen. See, when you guys explain it like then
Now,
I've seen
you
it.
know what he's doing? He's Googling shit right now as it.
I know. I got Siri. What is this movie?
IMDb.com.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So, what is your favorite Eddie Murphy movie, Serak?
My favorite Eddie Murphy movie. Oh man, I'm more like a stand-up. So I like his like raw stand-up.
So, did you see Raw or the other one he did?
Delirious. Yeah, I've seen
Delirious?
both of them. I get them mixed up, but I've seen both of them.
Now, say what you want. The guy was one of the first comedians that came out and actually like dressed to the nine, like wearing flashy shit. Like, what comedian wears an all leather fucking red suit? I think he wore a purple one and another one.
Nobody.
But I mean, he pulled it off.
Well, but back in the 80s, like you could wear shit like that though. Like that was cool. Like Rick James, like his outfit, that was cool. You pull that shit now, you start to question which way people, kind of fly there.
All right, now I have Jeff and Serak on, and I want to get the opinions. Bill Cosby. Now, he always used to talk, because the reason I bring up Bill Cosby, Eddie Murphy was talking about the time that Bill Cosby called him on the phone and was bitching him out about, being, using dirty language.
Uh-huh.
But now come to find out that Bill Cosby was the dirtiest of them all. Like, he was raping bitches. He was drugging them.
Yeah, don't say it, just spray it or drop it. Don't say it, just drop it.
Don't say
No,
bad
but,
words.
like,
Dude, you're
Rape's
doing it all
okay.
wrong.
But Serak, though, in the black community, was that like, oh man, America's father? Because even me being a white kid growing up, we were like, oh man, Bill Cosby's cool as fuck. I mean, he'd be a cool ass dad.
It's weird because, yes, I know the Cosby Show was extremely popular, but at the end of the day, Bill Cosby is still a comedian, right? So like, you can't nothing against comedians, but like, I mean, the whole American dad, persona that was given, that was just kind of weird to me. Because one, my family, I didn't grow up like that, and it wasn't that type of household.
He was a doctor. Wasn't he a gynecologist in that show too?
Was he?
I thought that he delivered babies or whatever. I can't remember.
Now it all
might
starts
be
to make
right.
sense.
Dr. Huxtable.
Dr.
Yeah,
Huxtable.
Dr. Cliff Huxtable. And, maybe Cliff was writing scripts of his own to drop in bitches' drinks.
He
that's
was an
actually
OBGYN. Yeah.
wow.
Googled it.
Isn't that crazy?
Anyway, guys, we need to wrap this up. Jeff, hopefully you enjoyed this conversation. I just wanted to, get on bullshit and everything. I would love to have you on the show again once, the pandemic comes to an end. You can get back out there and start. You know who I need to get him in contact with, Serak, is Rob Gargiulo.
What movie was
Rob,
he in?
No,
I'm
Rob was.
kidding.
You were an intern when he was a producer on the radio show.
Rob Gard. I don't think I know him.
Well, maybe K-Man was the producer at the time.
Yeah,
Anyways,
no, K-Man was the producer at the time. I don't even know who
Rob owns a touring comedian place or comedy tour called the Chuckle Hut. I mean, they do a lot of stuff down in Southwest Florida, as well as in the Sarasota area. So I would love to get Jeff and him in contact.
Yeah, that'd be great. And Jeff, give me the name of that place again, because I do, I even though I'm in Tampa, I frequently visit St. Pete, so I'd love to come out there and check out some open mic nights and see what you got.
Yeah, it's Coconuts. It's on. It's in St. Pete Beach. It's
okay.
It's hard to find, but GPS makes it easy. So.
All right, buddy, I'll check it out.
All right, Jeff. Appreciate the interview, man. Once again, tell people about your podcast.
Yeah, again, it's the Jeff Macolino podcast. You can find me Spotify, Apple, anywhere you find podcasts, and I'm at Saint J Mac on Twitter and Instagram.
He's a Saints fan, right?
Man,
that's why
you're in the wrong city at the wrong time. Actually,
you got that right, man.
Keep rooting for him. That's what we need. We need some competition. So,
Jameis Winston.
You know what though? Listen. I would love to see Jameis come in there and kill it though. I really, really would.
I think
Jesus. Obviously, Tuddle's not a huge Tampa Bay Bucks fan, because if you were in Tampa, you would not be saying that.
Oh, I'm a Dolphins fan, and you know what? The Bucks bought a championship just like the Marlins did back in the day with the World Series. This is exactly what they did.
Well, you can't blame them. You got what you paid for.
Whatever. All right, guys. I enjoyed this conversation. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Of course. Thank you. Thanks for coming up, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you guys.
From the Vapor Shades Hobo Fish Camp.
Man, maybe I would have way more sex partners in my life if I just threw caution to the wind.
It's the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Tuddle's Daily Podcast is brought to you by StitchYouUp.com. For your embroidery, screen printing, vinyl, and direct-to-garment printing needs, visit StitchYouUp.com. Stitch You Up specializes in custom caps, shirts, decals, and anything you want to personalize. Whether it's one item or large orders, they can handle any size. Unsure about what you want? Let Stitch You Up help you with your logo design. Visit StitchYouUp.com or contact them, Eric at StitchYouUp.com. Stitch You Up. Definitely not your grandma's embroidery. Nerd. Radio personality and hot talk satirizer. You're listening to the Tuddle Podcast.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Last segment of the show, but I wanted to share one of these stories that I saw over the weekend about the oldest living serving law enforcement officer in the United States. He goes by the name of Buckshot, and Buckshot seems pretty badass in my opinion.
It's often said age is just a number, and there's no better example than an officer in southern Arkansas. Here's CBS's Omar Villafranca.
He drives around in an unmarked police car, but everyone in Camden, Arkansas knows his name.
Hey!
91-year-old L.C. Buckshot Smith is the oldest police officer in the state.
And just to let you know, Buckshot's like, fuck wearing a mask. He's out doing the patrol, no protection at all. I mean, he is carrying a sidearm, but that lady just came up and hugged on him. And old Buckshot, he's 91. He's like, fuck the coronavirus.
He moves a little slower now, but he still walks the beat of his hometown 4 days a week.
How y'all doing?
What makes you a good police officer, even at 91?
This badge and gun don't make you a police officer.
Hello, Mr. Buckshot.
You got to respect people.
You know, I was just thinking about this. You know, if Buckshot's been on the beat for as long as he has been, it had to be pretty hard and difficult being an African-American in Arkansas. Not just Arkansas, the reporter said Southern Arkansas. That had to be a little difficult back in the 60s, if you know what I'm saying, right? Like, how does that even go over when a black police officer pulled over a white person? There had to have been problems back in the day when it came to that. I'm just saying. I mean, white people wore dicks back in the day.
He earned his popularity by working more than 4 decades for the Ouachita County Sheriff. That's him in the photo holding the shotgun. After 46 years as a deputy, he retired for only 5 months.
I don't hunt. I don't fish.
So in his 80s, he became a rookie Camden cop. He carries a firearm, but he doesn't have to use it.
Listen, in no way am I making fun of Buckshot, because Buckshot is pretty badass, but it is funny as hell to see a 91-year-old, you know, pulling out the jammy and letting two fly, to quote the BC Boys, because the recoil on that 9mm is kicking him back big time. They've actually got a training officer in the shooting range, I think probably standing behind him just in case Buckshot falls over from shooting that gun.
He knows your mama and he knew your grandmother. So he has the authority to speak into our lives.
How many people do you think you've arrested in your career?
Oh, I've taken more people's home and I risk taking to jail.
Officer Smith says he'll retire when the good Lord tells him to. Until then, Buckshot plans to keep rolling and patrolling. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Camden, Arkansas.
All right, guys, got to get out of here. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tuddle. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell button so you're alerted. You get the notification, because I'll be going live again tonight at 8 p.m. on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tuddle.
And that's the show for today. Thanks for listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hey, don't be a dickhead. Do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe to the show. Also, check out the Tuddle category at 315live.com. The Tuddle Daily Podcast is brought to you by the Vapor Shades Hobo Fish Camp. Do you want some cool-ass sunglasses? Check out vaporshades.com. Also brought to you by Starfire Transport, StitchYouUp.com, PocketPairClub.com. Special thanks to show intern Hannah and Charlie Alamo for their contributions. Additional imaging and production is provided by CCA Productions. Facebook.com/CCA Productions Presents. Show voiceover service is brought to you by JCVoiceover.com. That guy's got a damn sexy voice. You should hire him. Check out jcvoiceover.com. If you want to help support the show, go to paypal.me/TuddleOnTheRadio. Comments? Concerns? Or do you just want to let Tuddle know he's being a dickhead? Tuddle@gmail.com. That's Tuddle with 2 Ds at gmail.com. Leave a voicemail at 407-270-3044. To follow all of Tuddle's social media, go to Tuddle.net. Thanks again for all your support, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
Hey, yo, Terry, what's going on?